Wanderers, welcome to the Wandering Dutchman podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by our buddy Matt Krieg of Krieg Insurance. February is the month of love. If you don't believe us, go ahead and Google it. Google will always tell you the truth. Speaking of love, let's talk about the loved ones in your life. Have you sat down with a life insurance professional to discuss your life insurance coverage? A better question may even be, do you have life insurance? That is where our friend, trusted friend, Matt Krieg of Krieg Insurance comes in. Located in the heart of Huntingburg, Matt is ready to assist you in protecting your family, protecting your assets, and protecting your family's future needs by finding the right life insurance and right life insurance amounts that you need. Life insurance shouldn't be complicated, and it also shouldn't be bought over the internet. Give Matt a call today and don't hesitate, because we can't predict the future, but we can try and protect those we love.
The Wandering Dutchman podcast.
Where none of us are Dutch, but we all live in Holland, Indiana. Join us where we talk about what we all wonder about. This is the Wandering Dutchman podcast, coming to you from a very packed Smoker's Lounge.
Yeah.
The Wandering Dutchman. Yeah, yeah. The Wandering Dutchman. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Wandering Dutchman podcast, brought to you this month by our buddy Matt Krieg of Krieg Insurance. We got a hell of a show for you today. If you are watching right now on Spotify or YouTube, you notice that there's a fourth at the table, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Quattro.
There is a fourth, and she does not fit the narrative of facial hair, overweight, on testosterone, low T, on the Zimpy.
She's probably got low T. I mean,
It probably does have low
I
T.
hope.
She doesn't appear to be over T'd.
Yeah.
I shaved this morning too. So.
Whoa!
Hi, my name's Allison. Thanks for having me on the show.
Our special guest today, straight from Spencer County. We got some fans down there.
Yeah, a couple.
Miss Allison Bogus.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to get started here with just a little bit of introduction and chat. We usually ask how our week's been or what's been going on and kind of figure out some things and then, introduce you into what's going on. But thanks for joining us today.
No, I'm so happy to be here, you guys. When you said, "Hey, would you like to join us?" and I'm like, to talk about hunting, say less because, drinking a beer, hanging out, talking about this stuff.
That's your jam.
This is the perfect spot for me, right here in the seat.
Well, that's good.
Good.
And
A nice spot to be.
And it kind of helps that you kind of know what the show's about, because we've had a couple that maybe not necessarily knew all the way, like what they were getting into.
Poor Todd McComas and his
Yeah.
dog.
Well, bastard ate that puke out there that day. That's good. I mean, it is what it is. So, but we're excited to have you. It's good that you're a fan of the show. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Really can rub it into Blake right now because you have the microphone to just say, "Hey, I'm here," and you're not. If you want to.
I kind of do.
Go ahead.
I plan on rubbing it in it. Babe, you're the best. I love you. Sorry you couldn't be here. And you
Are
had
you,
to
though?
stay at home. I'm not. This is awesome.
So we're going to get into a lot of stuff. You're involved in a lot of things. Obviously, hunting's a big thing. You're an author. I would say you're probably a conservationist, an advocate, a traveler. But you also have you got
One
a little.
hell of a model American.
That's true. That is true.
America.
Oh, you got to work on that a little.
I know.
That was tough.
She'll get it. She'll get it.
America.
She'll get
Oh,
it.
God.
Oh, God damn.
So before we jump into talking to her, anything big on your radar?
Man, we got another batch of snow. Smoke Dragons,
Yeah.
Indian winter, I guess I would say. Round 5.
You want to know what Papa Frank said?
What'd he say?
He goes, "You can tell Smoke to go fly a kite because this is all his fault."
Not in this weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 a.m. come pretty early Wednesday morning. We got out and got after it. Got everything cleared up and ready to go for the
You couldn't have paid me enough to
Cancellation
do
of
anything
school.
at 3 a.m. after that floor laying on Saturday night.
I know.
I still got a sore ass leg.
Yeah. So folks at home, the basement renovation at the Casa de Mosner is coming along pretty well.
Look good.
Had
Best I
Smoke
can
Dragon, and Casey was in the house for a little while. Supervision, and
10 minutes was it.
yeah, I mean, just that's all it needed.
It was house nap time. And
Yeah. But yeah, we laid, what's that? What did she say it was?
300 square foot.
Yeah, 300 square
Did you get
foot.
that 4-inch strip done?
Well, yeah, no, but it's coming.
299.2 square foot.
Of laminate, life-proof laminate flooring.
LVP luxury vinyl plank.
That's what it was. Yeah, because we had to get all that stuff. So, yeah, that was a real mother effer. Wasn't really quite prepared for that. I do a lot of work, like concrete work on the ground and things like that. But a lot of times, like when we're doing flat work, like I'll just bend over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And, try to bend over. Don't do much work on my knees, if you can imagine that.
Not what I heard. But
Eat shit and die for everybody that thinks the difference. But
Brother Love's got a pretty big.
yeah, well, he can go himself. There's the good one. We'll
Yeah.
go ahead and get that right out of the gate. But yeah, anyway, so that was really tough. I don't see how them
10 hours. I didn't think it'd take us that long.
yeah, them carpet layers and floor layers and stuff. Them
Well,
guys-
we had a post in the middle. We had a couple closets.
A lot of cutting.
We had the, I couldn't find the knee pads, but then my legs sweat.
a lot of cutting.
Yeah, anyway, Peanut Gallery said knee pads, but I didn't spend much time on my knees. I'm too fat for that. I had to get all the way down on my ass and then do some hip twists to get up. I think that's why my hips and thighs are hurting.
Yeah,
I really should have taken some photos of this, Allison, because I walked downstairs.
I sweated through my
brother
clothes. three fucking
Smoke
times.
was already drenched. This guy was coaching him. Justine's wondering what in the hell she got into.
Yeah.
And I stand there and I'm like, don't need me here. You guys are doing a great job.
yeah. I kind of
Only
look like
smart
a
one of the group.
walrus laying around.
It's okay.
Oh boy,
It
that
all
was
worked out.
tough. But we
Smoke
got it
Dragon,
done.
what about you? Anything exciting?
No, pretty quiet week. Like I say, we butchered last Friday, 5 hogs. We got that done in record time, like per usual. So the experiment's concluded. We've got to smoke bacon on Saturday, and
I hear there may
Real
be a
time.
little competition for that.
there is going to be, and I think we'll do that on the show because there's a little bit of a differentiation. Brother Love and the Hood, they do a dry cure and cold smoke.
Oh,
I do a wet cure and heat smoke. So I'm going to smoke the 5 hogs worth of bacon we did this weekend. And we'll have to find, we figured you two will be judges. I can't be one because I'm
Biased.
smoking my own bacon and biased. So we got to find a third judge. And I don't know if we'll do it on the show or if maybe we'll do it as a
right there.
Can I,
Allison said
we
she's
got to
in.
volunteer, and that'll work as long as you don't mind making the drive up. But I don't know if it'd be on the show or if we just do a live maybe in between.
Alive may be dangerous.
We can figure it out.
But we got to figure out some rules. We're going to do BLTs or just straight bacon, but it'll be a blind taste
Well, I think you
test.
have to do a mixture of the two.
No, it's got to be straight bacon.
but if you're saying like straight bacon, how's it cooked though? Because some people like it crunchy, some people like
No,
As long as
No.
they're all cooked the same, I think as long as
Just
there's an equal.
everybody's
I
the
mean,
same.
like everybody's. Like, are you a cruncher? Or are you like
Situational.
I'm just curious.
Now, see, that's why I like thick bacon because I like crunchy edges, but I like a little bit of. I want some substance in the middle there,
Thick
Abs-
bacon.
especially on a BLT.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, you got to.
But yeah, so the warden, she likes hers crispy all the way through. It's hard to do a thick bacon. By the time you
like
make,
dust,
yeah, kind of like her steak.
like bacon dust.
Yeah, like the. She likes her steak like leather and her bacon like the little flaps on the lacers, the dust that comes off the bottom. You know what I'm talking about?
You lost me.
Unreal.
The lacers?
Probably use ketchup too, huh?
Oh, she's a big ketchup gal.
On steak?
Not with the
Yeah.
bacon though.
Oh my God!
No.
Yeah, you make the best steak ever since I got some ketchup.
Oh,
good
boy.
grief. So I knew I loved her.
Hey, well,
Didn't turn me off. I was like, well, that's what you're into, I guess.
So did you grow up in a single wide trailer or a double wide? That's what I want to know.
well, hey,
Shots fired. Here we go.
but before we get to Allison, we
What
got.
about you?
Oh, well, first weekend, Janelle didn't have to work.
Now, hold on.
Wait.
Happy birthdays are in order.
That is right.
Hey. Hey, this feller's a year older. Bagged another birthday.
Collecting birthdays.
That's right.
Like a girl here at the table collecting four-legged critters. I'm trying to collect as many birthdays as possible.
Hard to hang those on the wall.
Yeah, that's true. The most romantic thing ever, because we're getting rid of our toxic nonstick pans, I bought. So here's the funny thing. My wife and I share the same birthday, just different year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's perfectly okay. When we first started dating, and I was like, "Oh, when's your birthday?" And she's like, "February 19th." And I was like, "Shut up, mine too." And then it's easy.
Bone.
It's
Hey,
easy.
how does that work out for you guys?
That's exactly how it played out there, Brother Smoke. So it's actually perfect for her because 100% chance she would forget my birthday if it wasn't for me. Because when it comes to these kind of holidays for things like this, I always place stuff out early in the morning. So then she realizes when she gets home from work, she'll get her stuff on the way. So
Consider the birthday a holiday, huh?
yeah, something like that. It all works out. But bought some Lodge cookware.
There you go.
So we're getting rid of that stuff. And
This is the first my warden's hearing about it. She just bought new pans not too long ago.
Oh,
but after the
no.
microplastics episode,
Teflon?
and then I read about the Teflon. I sent it to her.
the
I said, "Man,
PFASs and
One-way trip to Cancer Town.
yeah, we're gonna have to throw those out. I think because they're already a little. You get to making good gravy.
I can't talk like RFK, but I'm sure that he would have some something like that.
there we go. But yeah, so that's what it is. Another birthday. Excited.
Well,
Hopefully, I have a good one.
congratulations,
By the time this one airs, I have done my speaking engagement, so that'll be exciting.
You got a guest list on that yet? You can share with us.
Yeah, I do. We can talk about it off air.
Oh.
So I mean, it's nothing
Off
too
air.
crazy. Just for people's privacy. We don't want to name names.
You starting out with like 4 and something like that, or
I think I'm gonna.
300 pounds and 38 years ago,
Yeah.
my mother gave birth to a badass.
No, I'm thinking about leading like with a lawyer joke because there are some politicians in the room that hey, it's good to be in a room of also hated individuals.
Liars. Oh.
We're not going to go there. But a couple special guests in the lounge. We got a couple usuals as well as one warden. But our buddy Seth Clem, aka Niner, over there.
hey,
I feel heavy.
high
High
four,
four.
brother.
High four.
High four.
Oh, wrong finger.
And friend of the program, Lee Vogler, making his first trip to the lounge.
Yeah.
He's over there.
Morning, James.
So,
And a couple of just regular ass hood rats hanging out over on the love seat.
yeah, there we go. It all works out. Allison,
Yes, sir.
where do you want to start?
Oh, I was hoping you could tell me.
It's your show. It's your show.
Show.
So let's start.
I'll get it. You want me to get
Oh,
it?
here we go.
Well, we're going to bounce
Way to take
all over
initiative.
God's
I mean,
green
we
earth.
Let's
did
do
some
it.
research.
Let's
so
lock in. Let's lock in here.
Let's see
All
what
right,
we got.
Allison Vogus.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Wandering Dutchman podcast. I'm Big Mace, just in case you didn't know who I was. And so I am a
She
fella.
just showed up here randomly.
I am
Didn't know
a,
who the we were.
Stumbled
Big-
through the door like 30
I got a
minutes
question.
ago.
Big Mace of the Wandering Dutchman podcast.
Yeah, for a long-time listener, first-time caller. So I'm a big hunter. I'm a big hunter and fisherman myself.
Figuratively or literally?
used to be. Not
Both.
My kids
Both
eat it
of
up
these.
a lot now, but where'd you start? How'd you catch the bug? Like when you were a kid, whenever, what happened? How'd it work?
I love this question. So I grew up here in southern Indiana. My dad was a big quail hunter. So you know Poons, Ronnie Poon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my dad and Ronnie were really good friends, and I grew up just watching them go all the time, then tagging along with them. My dad would take me quail hunting. Then we all did. It was all small game, so it was like quail, squirrels, rabbits, that type of thing. And I just like tagging along with them. I was actually like the one that would help him flush the birds if it was just me and my dad or something. I never had a gun. I never carried a gun at that time when I was
Right.
little. But yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it. And then I went off to college and kind of stopped, and then ended up dating a guy who was a big fisherman, big bass fisherman. Kind of got me into that. And then and from there, more into like deer hunting. And then I started when I met Blake. He was really big into all like every season, and so I started archery hunting, like got into bow hunting and stuff with him, and it kind of just took off from there. Everything just
Wow.
totally fell in love with it. So,
Super cool.
but yeah,
So how's that? So you get started, and that's pretty cool. Just dad taking you along
yeah,
because you don't see a lot of women hunters,
right.
and it's kind of you're kind of
definitely
blazing.
getting
You
more
do
popular
more
now.
now.
You're blazing
Yeah.
that trail though to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, I tried to. Well, so when I was a kid, I wanted to be a veterinarian, like grow up and be a veterinarian. I was all into
Missed that one.
animals and taking care. Yeah, no, right?
Hey, I know one that's a veterinarian. She would probably say you made the right choice. So you're okay.
Well, and I grew up like my second dad was Doc Kennedy over at Hilltop, and so I was always
yeah.
at his place too.
Oh
But
yeah.
but growing up with my dad, like all we ate was a lot of wild game and stuff too. So that's always been a big part of my life. Like I grew up with, venison was a thing, beef. Like I'm still not used to the taste of like ground beef over ground venison. It's
Oh, yeah.
just one of those
Yeah.
things you grow up with and kind of it's always been a part of my life. But I will say that I didn't really get into hunting myself until after college. And so I grew up, yes, going with my dad, quail hunting. Like I remember squirrel hunting with my dad, and just we go and sit at the base of a tree, and like I would help him look for squirrels, but I'd pick up an acorn and throw it and just pretend it was a squirrel like moving around. I was like, Dad, what was that? That was a squirrel. And he'd like turn his head. But like those are great core memories that I had.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I didn't really become passionate about it until after college. And honestly, it kind of went hand in hand with, I just love the outdoors. So I actually went to school for marketing, corporate communications, like had an office job and all of this. I ended up working at a big golf course in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I loved it, but I was stuck inside all day. And I realized that I wanted to be outside working with the turf guys, right?
Oh yeah.
So, and I talked to them about it, and they were like, and that's a long story, a whole other story in itself. But I was like, man, just an office work is not it for me. And fortunately, I did end up like coming home one weekend. I ran into Blake, and we started talking. Ended up working for him. Now we're married and all of this, and I've been doing lawn care with him for 12 years now. But so like one thing led to another, and I think just being outside, that kind of spurred my love for the outdoors, and that's kind of what helped lead me to where I am today. So not only with work, but also the hobbies and things that I'm interested
Oh
in.
yeah. Hell yeah.
So-
Being outside is
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorite things. Unless when it's like really stupid hot. I don't,
Or
what I mean?
really stupid
Cold.
Or
Yeah.
really, like right now, yeah, I've been in.
So you're talking about, I mean, not only we just, we're in this hunting conversation, but not only game that you would find around here, you've also chased game elsewhere. I know we'll probably talk about the Africa trip, but you just came back from that. You went to, was it Connecticut to get some kind of deer?
Maryland.
Okay, they're all
Sika.
Sika.
Yeah.
never heard of it. I mean,
I mean, to be honest, I hadn't either until I went.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I went was because my friend was like, "Hey, do you want to go to Maryland with me?" And I'm like,
crab cakes and football.
"Why not?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crab cakes and
Football.
crab cakes and football.
No shit.
And they're actually kind of invasive there. So, but
Yeah.
I killed a stud. I was lucky. I got really lucky. Killed a stud stag, Sika
Yeah.
stag, and they're like tiny elk. Actually, they're a
Little
type of
bitty
elk.
bastards.
Little bitty.
Do they have pearls? You know what I'm talking about? The elk pearls?
I don't know. And
Yeah, I
if
don't
they
know.
do, it's got to be tiny.
microscopic.
So they're really not that big at all, but they're in the
No.
elk family.
Actually, what happened was some guy brought these elk from Japan. He had like an island there near Maryland, I guess, and he brought them over to his island, and they were really good swimmers.
son of a bitch.
He didn't know that.
No, so they're like, I believe they're like, they came from Japan, I believe, and don't quote me on this. And so he brought
Hey,
them.
here's the
here.
thing about this show.
We
Facts
got
are
nothing on facts.
We
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
totally
know.
deal in
So yeah,
facts.
I'm gonna talk like I know what I'm talking about. So he
Atta girl.
brought these Sika stags over from Japan. Now they're like all over. They swam across, and they are they thrive in the swamps, and that's basically what you got there.
Did you watch that episode of Meat Eater before you went?
No, I actually didn't.
So you need to check that out. They killed some dandies over there too, and they sit in tree stands just like you're shooting whitetails. But it's like in this episode of the Meat Eater that I've seen, the only thing that I can relate to a secret hunt was it literally looked like what we do, but like it was somewhere that you would duck hunt in. Like it's just
that's
shitty
exactly
ass,
it.
boggy ass swamp ground, and they're fucking deer hunting in it, and it's like, what the hell? And there's the calls.
Yeah.
Is the most peculiar sound you could ever make to hunt for a deer, and it's nutty, man.
Did they call in that meeting?
Yeah.
Because I know they make calls for them.
Specific
But they,
calls.
Okay, so they sound like elk, but tiny elk, and they are more vocal than elk.
Yeah.
So, like, if you've ever heard an elk scream, right?
Yeah.
It's like that, but I mean, it's loud.
Like if it's coming from
It's
a
awesome.
So it's like a chihuahua with a big bark. That's about where we're at.
It's awesome. And I will say, like, so I killed this stag, and I was so proud of it, man. It was a full, literally very last day, I killed this 6-point stag, and I sent a picture. I sent a picture to my family, and they're like, "Good for you," but because it looks so small.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you don't understand. I killed a stud. Like, I killed a trophy, and we were freaking out because you get a little spike. If you kill a spike, it's like a big deal.
So why is that? Is there just so many? They're like, because of the invasive nature, they just don't grow to, like, how's that work out?
What I heard, meanwhile, quote me on this, but it takes like 5 years to even get a spike stag. So I killed a 6-point, right?
Yeah.
So there's no telling how
He's
old
like
the stag was.
49.
Yeah, like
He's about ready to retire.
he was a damn good
Now, do
stag.
they?
It was
They
awesome.
probably don't have any, like, around here. You got coyotes that can get young deer. Like, do they have anything like that in Maryland?
coyotes don't
There were
swim.
That's
lot
a
of
predator.
foxes.
Bears.
There were a lot of foxes there, but there weren't. I didn't notice very many predators. But these tiny elk, these sika is what they called them. So I was hunting on, like, it was a farmer's property.
Yeah.
They're watermelon farmers, but they also do corn and other agricultural field. They're like, they decimate worse than whitetail. We'll just wipe out crops. These tiny little.
Trying to bring this up. Keep talking.
I would love for you to hear them, but these tiny little animals,
They're kind of growling here.
they do.
It sounds like
I mean, they're very,
It's
they're,
wild.
I thought that's
They're-
what was going on.
they're super vocal, and their hides have like spots on them,
Yeah.
really neat looking. I mean, they're just wild. They're like the Hobbit of the elk. They're so funky looking, but
Mhm.
And they
Yep.
come from Japan.
yes,
Another thing we can
and
blame them
they're more nocturnal too, so they're super hard to hunt. Like it's hard to find them.
for. So, like,
where you can kill them.
they really, so that season, it's a tough season to hunt anyways.
It's tough, yeah.
Could they trap them?
Probably.
Oof.
I mean, you can draw them. They have feeders, like, and it's legal to bait them there in Maryland.
What was like a tag limit on them?
Oh, I don't even know.
Just whatever.
I was told whatever, but I don't know if that's true.
So what you're
I
really
know
telling
I
us is
could
you're
get- I
admitting
know
to
I
an
could-
illegal hunt.
At least one.
Yeah. At least
No, I
one.
had my
There we go.
no, I had all my legal tags and everything, but I knew I could kill a stag and like one hind, and that's a female.
Hind. Yeah.
So the females are known as hinds. I think I could kill one or two.
57.
hinds. I only shot a stag, so that's all.
Hind's
that was all I got.
57.
So you
Hinds
said that
You'd probably be good
57.
on some meat.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And the meat is like exceptional.
is
Not
it
bad.
probably like elk-like?
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. It's very good.
So this came through a friend. This
Yeah.
kind of hunting trip.
She won a giveaway, and she was allowed to bring a buddy, and so I was the buddy that she chose.
And
Really?
You killed the biggest stag out of the group.
I ended up killing the only stag that week, but she went back later, and she ended up tagging out too. So.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So any other hunting trips outside of the whitetail, like what we would know, that, kind of like the Sikas that you've gone and done?
I did an elk hunt in Colorado, so that was a bow hunt. But we don't have elk in Indiana. That was
Mm-mm.
probably one of my coolest hunts there.
What made that so cool?
it was like,
The mountains.
honestly, just Colorado is just amazing, period. But for me, elk is like, I don't know if you guys are into turkey hunting at all. Freaking love turkey hunting, but just calling and having an animal respond is epic for me. You know, it's like calling giant turkey. It's basically when you're elk hunting, and I can't call elk. I went with my buddy Adam and Blake's cousin Craig. It was the three of us. We spent 2 weeks out in Colorado. Like, we were intense. One cool thing about it was I slept on my Papa Hunter's World War II cot. So like, I spent
Oh,
2
that's
weeks
cool.
it was, but it was like legit. I mean, we didn't shower for a week. We go to the Y and like take a sink shower and then head back out into the mountains. But
Yeah.
So you really
were
kind
ready
of
to strangle each
you-
other by the time we were done with that hunt. But
so it's
man,
kind of a roughing it elk
oh
hunt.
yeah.
Backcountry for sure.
Yeah, we were catching trout and like
Awesome.
it was
Super cool.
I mean, it was everything you would expect.
Did you kill?
No.
Yeah.
It was
that's
a bow
tough.
hunt. So like bow hunting elk, I think the success rate is
This-
3%.
Yeah.
in
Especially
Colorado?
DIY when you're
It
doing
was
on your
DIY
foot.
hunt too. This wasn't like a draw. It was
Yep.
we went. I bought over the
Yeah,
counter
bull
tags.
tag or cow tag.
It was either.
Yeah.
And then you paid like $100 more for bear tag
Mm.
on top of it. So like the plan was if somebody killed an elk, then you're allowed to like hunt over the carcass,
Yeah.
like whatever, you know,
Yeah.
for bears. But unfortunately, while we were there were wildfires. There was a whole lot going on. All the bears had moved down towards. There had been a big drought, so there weren't any bears around anyway. But that was just a super cool hunt. Just hearing those elk bugle.
Oh, I bet.
Like I got so close a few times. Craig ended up dropping a cow, so he ended up filling a tag. So we didn't.
That's cool.
We didn't go home empty-handed. So yeah.
Hey, quick pause real quick. We're going to hear from our buddies Hopf Outdoor Power. Spring is in the air. Finally. Maybe. We hope so. And guess what? Hopf Outdoor Power is back. They never left, but they're back with us here at the Wandering Dutchman. And they wanted us to remind you of their great selection of used and new side-by-sides and ATVs. Talk to old brother Dave. His side-by-side is ready for an oil change and probably needs some new tires. Also, spring means that grass mowing season is upon us. Don't wait until the grass is too tall. Get your mowing equipment serviced today, and now is definitely the time. Our friends at Hopf Outdoor Power have their winter service special going on now till the end of February. The winter service special includes discounted services and discounted pickup and delivery. Don't wait till the grass is knee-high. Get your mowing equipment serviced today. All right, we're back. So we're in Colorado.
Yes.
We had the elk hunt.
Yeah.
Anything else on the top 5 of our hunting expeditions here in the United States?
We're talking this year? Is there-
Ever, just ever.
Oh, okay.
This is, I guess, what I went on a gator hunt a couple of years ago. Alligator in Florida. That was cool.
Really?
Mainly because I didn't realize like what alligators are capable of, and like
Yeah.
that was a whole new experience for me.
They're pretty ornery.
You know why they're
A
ornery?
lot of teeth, no toothbrush.
Bingo. That's what Mama always said.
Yeah. Abdullah Oblong.
So is it like the History Channel Swamp People?
Yeah.
Was it kind of like that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like just
what do you
these-
hunt a gator
so,
with?
So like you know
A
all
Bowie
those
knife,
memes,
Dave.
You know all those memes about Florida people?
Yeah.
There's like this little boy, and he had scars like up here on his shoulder. And we're like, "What happened to you?" He's like, "I was swimming, and this gator grabbed a hold of my shoulder. I just punched him in the face." This kid was like 9 years old.
A Florida kid.
This is a Florida kid.
So
Florida
there's a training program to
someday
become a Florida man.
100%.
There you go.
And I'm just like, okay, this is real life. Like it's just these
unbelievable?
kids are telling. Oh my, yeah, it's
So
a real
you're
thing.
you're limb lining them out of a boat and then you're shooting them, or are you just cruising looking for bubbles and then shooting them out of the water?
So it's both. You can bait. So
Yeah.
we ended up spotting, like we're cruising around, like binos out, trying to
Mhm.
spot the gators, which are so it's absurd how well they can hide in the swamps. But so we spotted this big gator, and we're like, that thing's like at least 10 feet. Like it's a big old boy. So then we baited him, and I watched through my binos. I watched him grab the bait and take it. And so then we got him on a line, and so you have to wait for him to sync with it and get him to swallow it a little bit. Otherwise, they can spit it back out. So we did everything right. We like pulled up to him, and we can see like, all the he's close to our boat, but as we're pulling it up, he ended up spitting it out, and just what blew my mind was an animal that big. How he got away without making any ripples in the water. That's where I'm like, I have totally underestimated what gators can actually do. Because he was huge. And actually, he was caught 2 weeks later and killed. He was 11 and a half feet.
Jeez.
He was a monster.
I bet.
And
he would have made a lot of boots.
The only reason we would have made a ton I could have outfitted this whole crew here today.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
But the only reason we knew which direction he had gone was just like
a blood trail from spitting the hook.
No, the mud he like kicked up on his
mouth.
I mean, there was no ripples in the water, nothing.
Did you have anybody in the boat yelling, "Shoot him! Shoot him, Troy! Shoot him!"
God. All right, well, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to November of 2024 when you arrow this absolute stud of a buck.
I had a really good year. Yeah, I had a good year.
He just dead scrolls all day, every day. Like, it's not surprising.
This big ass mainframe 8-pointer. Let's walk us through that, because that was a dandy buck. Your Indiana buck.
Here's another question: does Blake, like, if he doesn't get a deer or anything, like, do you just walk around the house like, "Hey, Blake, my balls are a little bigger than yours," or what's that like?
I mean, I might flaunt that, like, I filled the freezer this year.
Oh, Mama's bringing home the bacon.
Make Mama a sandwich.
Get your ass in there and make me a sandwich.
And then get the laundry done while you're at it, boy.
He's actually, the only reason he could have killed this year, but our rule is we're going to kill something bigger, same size or bigger than what we've killed. Which
the year before.
I have two different rules. One's a bow buck, right? One's an archery kill.
Typical.
Yeah.
One's
two rules.
Rifle kill. Well, because I have different standards for my bow.
Oh, hey, hold on. Hey, you poor hunting bastards. Out. We're in elite air right now.
But like an archery buck, my biggest archery buck's different from my biggest like rifle buck.
Right.
And there's two different, there's challenges in both. But like Blake killed a really, really nice buck last year with his bow. And so he was pretty picky this year when it came to killing. And then I ended up with 2 deer. Sway ended up killing 2 deer this year.
I've seen that too. That's cool shit.
So,
those his first deer?
Yes, first ever. So he killed one in Indiana, one in Kentucky.
That's awesome.
And I did too with my bow.
So this November 2024 deer.
Mm-hmm. This deer was actually, I want to say it was probably my first ever bow kill on the property. It was my father-in-law's property out near Birdseye, Indiana, and God, it was a cool hunt. I literally had zero expectations. I hadn't been seeing much. We had a few decent ones on camera, but I had some does in front of me, and this was like pre-rut, right before things were getting really good.
Yeah.
And had one buck. I had the does started looking up, and I had this buck come in, and I'm like, nah, he's not a shooter. And then they all started lifting their heads and kind of turned, and next thing you know, in comes walking my deer.
Here he comes.
And like, he's not one that we had seen on camera or anything. And I looked at him for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm like, I got that.
Oh yeah.
I got the shakes. I'm like, okay, he's going to walk right into this window. And sure enough, he did. And like 15 yards.
Were you in a tree stand or in a blind, or
I
what?
was in a tree stand.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And
you saddle hunt or lock on or just ladder
I
stand?
take a climber, but
wow,
I like a good climber. They're comfy, and I'm comfortable using them. Using a climber was the first year was kind of hit or miss. It took me a bit to figure out the safest way to use one.
Oh, I know. I don't know. I can only imagine.
I had some sketchy situations.
I'm not a big climber guy, if you can imagine that.
I had some You know what? A harness though. A harness
Big time
Key.
lifesaver. Yeah.
Harness is key. As long as I'm locked in, I feel safe.
Yeah.
But
So this was up around Birdseye, and you mentioned Kentucky. So you probably have a handful of spots that you kind of keep an eye on and
yeah.
go to what looks good on camera, or do you look for signs? Like, what's your process? Because I'm sure it's a little bit of a year-long process where you're kind of keeping track and tabs of what's going on. But what's that look like to?
Well, like as far as both of these properties go, we've kind of got them figured out through the years and we've done a good job of implementing like food plots and different things like that. In Kentucky, you're allowed to bait. We don't bait because it's like a good hour and a half drive to where we go. But where we're hunting, we've kind of figured out the movements, like where the deer are bedding, where they're coming out, and so the key part is playing the wind, really, if you're, when you're hunting is, and we'll utilize like apps like Onyx and stuff. I take full advantage of Onyx. It's like, here's what the wind's doing today, like trying to figure out thermals, which I'm kind of over my head, but I'm starting to, figure that out as far as like
very important
hunting the wind and different things like that.
You're talking to a guy right here that he just goes to the woods to take a nap.
I mean, I love
Watch-
napping in the wind.
I know you probably bring.
Watch his football.
I know
outside.
you're really looking down upon this, but I'm not a real good hunter.
I'm
but
not at all, and there's nothing wrong with napping in the woods. Those are just some of the best naps. I'm not gonna lie.
Trust me, I know. Well aware.
Taking a pack full of little Debbie's and then sitting in the woods and having a little snacky snack.
We don't
and
need
taking
any
a nap.
snacky snack little Debbies in this operation.
Listen, you have to. It's key. It's good luck.
What kind of bow you shoot?
Matthews.
Of course. Yeah.
What's that mean?
I don't know. Fixed blade or mechanical?
Fixed.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Atta girl.
I'm not one about the I don't know that I pull enough weight to.
Yeah.
For the
What do you
I mean,
draw?
I'm sure
What do you
but
draw?
55.
Damn.
Somewhere
Stay out of the weight
Yeah.
room. I mean, that's not bad, really.
Oh, she's building all them muscles,
Yeah.
beating Blake. My God, that's what that is.
Yeah. That's super cool. Super cool.
So it's kind of cool, like you sharing that story, like you get excited about it. So no matter
love
how
it.
many times you go hunting, no matter the deer that you've killed or the animal, like you still get that like first time I'm seeing it and it happens kind of feeling.
Even if it's a doe, like, and if I get past the point where, I don't get those feelings anymore,
Might as well
it's-
quit.
Yeah, it's not worth it. That's when you start taking somebody else, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get them excited about it. And,
Right.
You know what I mean? So and I haven't killed, like, there's lots of people out there who have killed way bigger deer than me and stuff. I haven't been deer hunting that long, probably just about 7 years, maybe 8 years. Because like I said, I grew up just like small game hunting.
Mhm.
So it's still, whitetail's kind of an exciting experience for me. I'm actually, to be honest, I prefer small game hunting, maybe because of the way I grew up, but I
Yeah.
love like dove hunting, rabbits,
Yeah.
squirrels,
Oh, yeah.
ducks, turkey. Love turkey hunting. But I also just talking about like getting other people involved. That's another real passion of mine, is
Yeah.
especially women, because it's kind of hard to find other women who enjoy hunting and stuff. And
So
to
go
get
into
them
that
involved.
then. Go into some of the organizations. I know you always do a lot of posting and a lot of sharing things where getting other women involved. What are some organizations or anything that you do? Tell us about that. How's that work?
So the main one I'm involved here with in Indiana is the American Daughters of Conservation.
There
So
you go.
I was the first member in Indiana. Now I'm the Indiana chapter president, and we have 2 vice presidents now because it's hard to cover the whole state. Our chapter has grown. We've got like 60 or 70 females involved in our Indiana state chapter. So I've got a VP up north who's covering like events and stuff up there. But our real goal is Indiana conservation, and then also educating women in the outdoors, whether it's we've even done like caving and different things like that, fishing, hunting. It's like everything in the outdoors. And then we also are connected across the country. So it's what if you're involved in the ADC, the American Daughters of Conservation. You can do events in like Kentucky or Florida, or you can go offshore fishing. You can do. I've taken girls on snow goose hunts. I do the catfish noodling every summer. I take a group of 12 girls, always beginners who've never gone. We go catfish noodling, and we do different workshops. Like we'll have a turkey calling workshop coming up. So Bill Keith, he's a turkey call maker. He's from Grandview. He always puts on the turkey calling workshop with us and teaches the girls how to use his calls and
Awesome.
So what kind
Box
of
calls?
yeah, all different. He's got like slate calls, he's got box calls, he's got a whole variety.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what's the level of experience these women are coming to your organization? Like some probably none, some their husbands may be into it and they're thinking about getting into it.
Yeah.
You know, some maybe have like kind of an upbringing where maybe dad hunted and they grew up and getting back into it. Like, what's that look like?
That's basically what it has been. I'll tell you, like every year I put on a pheasant hunt, which Indiana is put and take. So we'll go to Sugar Creek up near Mitchell and we'll do a put and take pheasant hunt, which is like pheasant chucker. Sometimes we'll jump a covey of quail.
Random covey.
Yeah, sometimes we'll jump a random covey, but almost every year, everybody who comes, none of the girls have ever bird hunted before.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's kind of a good introduction because that's exciting. There's most of the time there's pretty good action, but the birds and everybody gets excited. It's a good start.
Yeah, and then we practice like shooting clays beforehand, and then we talk about hunting with dogs and like safety, and then gun safety, and then we'll go out into the field and they get that experience, and we'll go back and clean the birds, and then they take the meat home, and we'll talk about how to cook it, and like it's a whole full hands-on experience.
So what's the age of that you're? I mean, is there a move to get to the younger age groups? Because Indiana is one of those states where they do the youth hunts, and I don't know if a lot of states do that, but like what kind of age are you seeing? Are you seeing a younger influx? Like, is there a goal to get to the younger influx?
There's more of a goal because it's mainly like women, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, but they all also have daughters who want to get involved. So the goal is to come up with a junior ADC group, but we're not quite there yet. We're working on it. We've had a lot of interest, and we do have some junior members who are a part of our group. We have like 15-year-olds and 16, 17, 18, several teenagers who have taken part in some of our events.
What's the response locally?
We've got a great group locally. Actually, most of our group is probably here, Southern Indiana. Yeah, there's probably 20, 30 girls.
Well, shout out to those girls.
Yeah.
Before we continue on, let's hear from LC Lawn Care and Pressure Washing.
Our buddy Logan Clark doesn't just hang Christmas lights. He owns and operates LC Lawn Care and Pressure Washing. The good news is Logan has openings for lawn care in Huntingburg and Jasper areas. The better news, Logan is doing pressure washing not only in DuBois County, but also in the counties that surround DuBois County. Everyone is busier now than ever, whether it's getting on your porches and patios and decks cleaned up and ready for better weather or keeping the yard nice and trimmed. Logan is ready for you. But don't wait. His schedule is filling up fast.
All right, Allison, we've talked about the four-legged critters. What about, you mentioned turkey hunting earlier.
Yes.
Why turkey hunting? Because and that is not Big Mason the Warden.
It's their bed.
It's their poor bed scream.
Cesar always goes, Gordo. He's Gordo,
Fat.
which is me. He calls me Gordo, like that's my nickname. And he's Gordo. And it sounds just like a turkey goblin.
Oh,
Tell me if there's nothing better.
Oh,
Look at the size
look at the size of that quacker.
Look at that
Holy.
big bastard.
That's okay. You were bragging about your duck, but he was not exaggerating.
That is a
that's
big
a
duck.
big
So somebody slipped up the hill
Sneak
and
that sumbitch right in there.
ducked Brother Love's rig
I
this
had
evening.
to use 2 hands to pick up this duck. Look at that
Whoa.
thing.
Yikes.
It's a good
not
duck.
this kind of show,
So
Allison.
tell me now, in the springtime,
Big duck.
at the ripe old age of the year, like we start getting into the Aprils.
Ripe old age of 3 months in.
Yeah. And you get out there in the morning and you hit that old hooter. Are you a hooter girl or are you a crow caller?
Listen, I can croak. I cannot hoot.
Yeah.
I'm not a hoot.
I little bit.
Who cooks for you?
Anyway,
Who does cook for you?
like I can do it a little bit. But anyway,
Nice.
tell me that's not the best thing in the world whenever you pull up on a spot and you hit that shot
World class.
that shot gobble call, air dicker. I knew that's where he was going. And you hear that first big tom just hammer. Tell me that's not the coolest thing in the world. It
It's
is
the best.
pitch dark.
Mhm.
And you get out of the truck and your buddy's like, don't slam the door, dumbass. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've done this before. And then like we
Slams the door.
No, we get out. We get out,
Are we speaking from like?
and then you walk away from the car on accident and you hear like the boop, boop, like your car makes that like the key has left the building, and you're like, shit, and then you hear the and then all of a sudden that bird just hammers and it is on like
Now, what was that, Allison?
I'm better at hen calling.
Oh yeah. Now, so you get into the turkeys.
Yeah.
What's your tactic? What's your favorite tactic? How do you do it?
Okay, so I will say that my favorite way to hunt turkeys is middle of the day.
I know
not
it, dude.
morning.
If you can get a bird to gobble after 11 p.m.,
11 p.m. or 11 a.m. big
a.m.
guy?
I meant a.m.
Oh,
Hey, if you're out
Yeah.
there about midnight, get
Yeah,
the turkey
yeah,
to call,
yeah.
you're pretty
You
good.
get a 22 and you shoot them square out of the tree. They ain't got a chance. If you can get a bird to gobble after 11 a.m., it's 9 times. You're going to kill him.
I've killed most of my birds
Yeah.
today.
Why is that? Tell the folks at home why.
Well, okay, so that's when the toms are off. The hens have gone back
Mhm.
to take care of their own business.
Now they're out looking for another lover.
Yes.
They're
So
looking
they're
for
out-
another lover.
They're out looking for those hens that are still looking for, haven't
Looking for
Haven't
love
found
in
love their
all the
Lord.
wrong
Or turkey
places.
cock.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for. Yeah. That's what
And
they're
those-
looking
Turkey cock. Who wants it?
those toms will cover some distance
Oh, man.
to find those ladies.
I know it.
And so
So is it like a blind that they're because like with deer, doe, you hunt with scents and different stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are these toms just wandering around aimlessly, or
No.
I don't think so. I honestly don't know. I
They're
think
just
they
looking
have
for a
that-
hen in general.
Yeah. and
so they're just
listening.
wandering around?
Yeah.
Is what? Okay,
They're
that's
wandering,
what.
but they
yeah.
are also covering the territory they know or are familiar with. But they will go a little bit further. I mean, also, I guess if we're talking turkeys, like in the fall,
Let's
turkeys
talk
will
turkey.
go long distances
Yeah.
away, and they'll form flocks. So right now, like
They're flocked up.
they're all flocked up together. So that's why you'll see big flocks of turkeys right now.
7,
Soon as
12,
spring comes
15
around,
Oh,
because they can
40,
take care of each
50.
other. That's how they stay alive, right? They got all those eyes.
Mhm.
All those eyes see everything. So
Yep.
they're very capable of taking care of making sure.
People always say eagle eyes.
Yeah.
I think you could just say turkey eyes.
You know, that was going to
Same
be the national bird.
It
Was the turkey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I thought they always say
But we ate
that
'em.
turkeys are so good about that because they're skittish by nature and not because they're like astute observers.
Oh man, their vision is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I've always been told they can see you blink.
Yep.
Like you
Yep.
don't move. And
That's
and
why-
that's where people mess up when
Yep.
they're hunting too. Well, that's why a lot of people like to hunt out of a blind because they can move around and stuff. I hate hunting turkeys out of blinds because that's like the challenge is,
Oh yeah.
half the fun. Is
First one I ever killed, I had a buddy of mine, Brady Blessinger. Shout out Brady Blessinger. We had roosted some the night before, and by that means you watch them go and they'll fly up, and that's where they roost.
To their roost?
They roost in the evenings. I know it. I'm
I tell
not
you-
talking to you. I'm just looking at you talking to the folks at home
okay,
that don't
okay.
understand it.
Really feel attacked because I'm the shittiest hunter at this table
we
right now.
we roosted some
I've never
birds.
turkey hunted, buddy.
We roosted the birds the night before, and we went out to some property that's actually really close to where I live now, which is kind of ironic. You know what I mean? It's kind of how
Isn't
things
it ironic?
full circle.
Don't you think? Yeah.
And same thing.
Good contribution, Dave.
We roosted these birds, went there, got them to gobble in the morning. We were like, yeah, they're still here.
Yeah.
Go after them, and they fly down, and go the slick opposite way of what we think they're going to
They
go.
always freaking do.
And they start gobbling, and this same group of hens cross the road. We watch them cross the road, call the dude that owns the property. I'm like, hey, this is, so-and-so. We got a group of turkeys over here. You mind if we go after him? He's like, no, go ahead, boys. Kill him. So we get on him again. We did like the world's longest circle. I'm a big walker, if you can imagine that.
Big hiker.
Big time turkey chaser.
Really likes to get his steps in.
Yeah, we walked about 47 miles, what it felt like, and really
12
it was
feet.
probably only about 400 yards. But we circle up on them, and anyway, we get our decoy set, and Brady starts calling for me, and here they come. It was a Jake. There were two Jakes that split off from the group of Toms, and I killed a Jake. You know what I mean? So, and that was my first
No
turkey.
shame in that game.
First
buddy.
turkey.
Little
And
baby
Tastes
turkey.
better.
I'll never forget that.
So
It was a good time.
I mean, turkeys to me, springtime, it's baseball season. Don't have time for it. The ticks, not a big tick guy.
Yeah.
Because if I got bit by one of those ticks where you couldn't eat red meat,
Hang it up.
put me
You
down.
know what?
Hang it
I'd
up.
rather die happy. You know what I mean? If I'm going to die, might as well be by red meat.
Turkeys are 485,000 times harder to kill a turkey than it is to kill a deer.
Yeah, I'm a shitty deer hunter,
You'd
so
be-
I'd be
you'd
an
be-
even shittier turkey hunter.
You'd
Like,
starve to death.
Yeah.
Turkeys are more fun.
Thanksgiving
because,
would be pretty rough at the Lindemann household if you
Yeah.
were in charge of killing
Well,
birds.
good thing our friends at Merkley and Sons have that turkey roll. Which, while we're at it, why don't we just roll that ad, Dave?
Hell yeah.
February is a big month. It may be short on a few days, but it's a big one. We've got the Super Bowl, we've got Valentine's Day, and hell, maybe even in your household, President's Day is a big deal. The good news is that when you throw that massive Super Bowl party, you can utilize those high-quality Merkley & Son meats. Whether you are going with a simple spread or something more in-depth, the fellows over there at Merkley's have got you covered. Fellas, listen up. Cook dinner for your significant other on Valentine's Day. Skip the dog and pony show that is February 14th and show off your culinary skills. Ladies, listen up. Don't waste your time. Head on over to Merkley's, do a little shopping, and make this the best Valentine's Day ever for your mate. But my younger brother Corey's more of the outdoorsman, and I'm not. But he's like, "Hey, you want turkey hunt?" And I'm like, "Gonna pass."
No.
I'm not real.
Which,
good.
by the way,
Go with them. I'm telling
they
you.
are lousy where we live too.
So
So
fun.
we
It
can
will
hammer
be
'em.
the best hunt. When that Tom is gobbling like within 20 yards of you, your heart just stops. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
how to explain
It's
it.
insane.
Well, you'd
You
have to
hear
wake me up from
drumming?
my nap, Allison.
no, you ain't got time to nap when
Listen,
you're sitting on the ground.
Go middle of the day. I'm telling you, that's when everybody else is gonna.
And
like,
you can't
"Ah,
watch
I get my
you can't
turkey."
watch baseball on your phone when you're trying to turkey hunt.
I know. So Indiana has 2 turkey seasons. So in
Spring
the
and fall.
fall, you can kill a hen or Jake or Tom, right? And then in the spring, it's Toms only. Is that right?
Toms or a bearded hen or
Bearded,
Jake.
any bearded
Wait,
bird.
bearded
Beard.
hens?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
but,
The circus lady.
That's
But-
2025, I guess.
but a lot.
Well,
of
they've been
people
around
like
longer than that.
I've never killed a bearded. There's a lot of people. There's some bearded hens. There's some controversy.
And usually
there.
when you kill
Most
a bearded
people are
hen-
like, don't kill a bearded hen.
And usually when you kill a bearded hen, there's multiple beards as well. So it's not just
So how do you
one,
know it's a?
because they don't have a red head and they don't strut.
Yeah, beard. You can tell it's pretty. Not,
So how does what is the physiology, or how does a hen become bearded?
well, just like some
Testosterone.
some does grow a rack. Like
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they
Ma'am.
do.
Yes, ma'am, sir.
somebody
Fine
will kill
rack.
what they think is a buck, and it ends up being a doe.
9 times out of 10. So
So what do you put on the tag? Do you just put an
it's
X?
an antlered
It's a
deer.
deer.
That's
Yeah,
why
an
whenever
antlered deer.
that's why when you buy a tag, Like when you
I
buy
don't
your
do that stuff.
when you buy your bundle
Blowing
tag.
his
Illegal
mind
hunter.
right
I
now.
don't do that
It'll say-
shit. I don't buy no tags.
It'll
I got no intention of killing it. I just sit in the tree.
I just buy NFL Sunday ticket and sit in that cold ass middle chair.
It'll say
About right.
antlerless or antler.
I know.
So that like if you kill a spike, you can't kick the horns off of it. It's still a
But
spike.
like hunting
you
in
know?
the fall is not as much fun as spring
No,
hunting.
because they
turkey.
don't gobble.
No, and it's not. And half the time they're not even gobbling anymore in the spring. It's a whole
Right.
thing.
It's
But
too
anyway,
late. I'm with you, girl. I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
Turkey hunting.
A tom
awesome.
turkey's head is blue and it's red. And then when they're gobbling and they're really looking for that lady, the blue becomes way more vibrant. And a hen turkey,
Their head swells.
their heads are gray. They're not. You can 100% tell the difference between a hen and a tom.
You know, there's a friend of the program, Brandon Schaefer, that's got plenty of turkeys.
Well, they're
out there for me.
white.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't
Yeah.
discriminate.
Listen, here's my secret to. I'm gonna segue like you guys do. You know what you need? Oh my God,
What happened?
I didn't think it was that bad, so you started laughing.
I didn't catch it either.
Damn it.
I didn't catch it.
Ooh,
What I missed?
Meanwhile, I'm trying to segue.
Let her rip.
I know what you need. I wrote a book about turkey hunting.
Let's save that
She
for hour
literally
two.
wrote the book, mother effer.
Hour two. We'll get into that hour two.
Oh, we're
Oh, shut her down.
cliffhanger.
I'm just saying it's got good pictures in it and it will explain everything.
That's more of a mace book.
Unbelievable.
Allison, I can read. I'm the white collar guy at the table.
Yikes.
Shoot.
Well, hey, wait a minute. You just take a chill pill. When you were talking about that Daughters for Conservation,
Yes.
you mentioned something. Did you hear her mention something about catfish noodling? Let's go catfish noodling for a little bit.
Actually, we could if you guys really want to.
No way.
Actually,
cold
that
out
might be
there.
a dang good episode. I'm just saying.
I'm in.
Picture this.
Could you picture
Right.
Casey Lindemann
Picture this.
sticking his hand in a hole, trying to wrangle out an old flathead?
I don't know if anybody wants to see my bitch shins shine.
Could
in the
you
fucking
take us?
sun.
Could you take us to a place if we were sworn to secrecy and we wore like blindfolds on the way there? Because
Yeah.
these guys don't. Well, Dave kind of does. Casey probably doesn't know, but I do. I know how important it is to like keep those things to yourself. You know
It's amazing
Yeah.
how just yeah.
how
Go ahead.
dumb that I make you sound.
Yeah.
I love you.
And
brother.
everybody that listens to the show is like, why do you put up with it? And it's
No,
like,
they-
it's the
they
only
don't- they
time
don't
during
think
his
that.
week
They don't think that.
that he's allowed to do this.
Listen.
They know. But if we were to go to these spots
Mhm.
and you would put us on some fish, could you get us on some fish?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. That's why I
Unbelievable.
think it would be fun. Like,
Oh, it would.
imagine we do an episode away. You know, you guys are on a boat. You can still drink beers on the boat,
I
Yeah.
like drinking beer,
and then
especially on boats.
we go to catch some fish. Except it's just with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
But
I always tangle up fishing rods.
there you go. You don't even need. There's no fishing rods. You just
You
use your
just-
own hands. You just stick your hand in a hole.
Tell us
Come
how
out
it
with a
works.
fish.
Tell it how it works.
Okay.
How
Pretty
did
good
you
at that.
start? How'd you start?
I started. My friend. I have a friend in Alabama, and she's the one that drugged me into it.
How thick is her accent?
Very thick. It's thick. Like
Dick. I bet.
Two
we're
C's.
With
gonna-
3 C's.
We're gonna go down catch some catfish and get in this. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad, but a lot of yeah. So she took me in Alabama, Tennessee. That was the first time I caught a blue cat. Blue cats are meat.
Yeah.
So when you're noodling, you're either gonna catch a flathead or a blue cat or a channel cat. Channel cat's not
Usually not.
common because they're smaller, so they're harder to catch. But my first fish I ever caught by hand was a blue cat, and they are like the bulldogs of the water.
They're big.
They're big and they have a hard bite. I don't know how to describe it aside from slamming your hand in a car door. Like it's
You're really not selling us on it.
but however,
However.
it's so exciting, like the adrenaline rush and then coming out with that fish, and it's like
Now, how long you got to hold your breath underwater?
as long as you can.
Now, see, that's trouble.
Tell us, brother Dave.
Well,
Sometimes
now, do you
can
have
hit
to
a
wear?
shallow hole.
Do you have to wear a weight belt?
I don't.
So you don't have
We
much.
definitely don't. We got lots of weight.
Well, that's
Oh,
the problem,
well.
though.
Oh, we float.
Fat floats, Bubba.
I will.
And
whenever,
I'm saying her BMI is drastically different than our
Definitely.
BMI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I
bet my
have
leg and
friends.
hers in common.
I have friends that you will take a weight belt.
Well, sure they will.
So
Yeah.
this
Usually
friend
when
in
I take
Alabama,
girls, yeah,
how did you connect with her?
she honestly via Instagram
And social media.
We got to social media. We started talking. She was like, "Would you want to go catfish noodle?" I'm like,
So is she big?
"Absolutely." Have you ever seen Girls Gone Grappling? Like,
Oh, I thought
That
we
was
were
like
going
one of the
somewhere else.
original.
Come
That
on.
was the original ones.
jeez.
I have
They're
seen
the
Girls Gone
OGs.
Grappling. Yeah.
Girls Gone
So
Grappling.
does she do the content creation for the outdoor stuff?
She does some. Honestly, her boyfriend was the one that got into it, and then now they're married. But he taught her. She invited me. I went and joined her.
You can shout her out here. It'd be okay.
Allie from Alabama. Hey, girl.
Allie from Alabama.
Allie from Alabama.
Her name's Sarah.
Her everything is Allie from Alabama, but it's actually
Allie
Sarah.
from Alabama.
So she reaches out, and
Yes.
because you've never done this before.
No, but it had always been like so. When I was in college, I saw these girls.
Mhm.
Girls
Gone
gone grappling.
grappling.
These girls are the OGs.
Hot chicks.
They would go.
Bikinis.
I saw them pull out these fish
Biggins.
from under docks and stuff. I was like, oh my god, I want to do
The
that
fish.
someday. I don't know why, but that was on my bucket list. So when she asked me, I was like 100%.
So
yes,
she's like,
ma'am.
"You're an outdoor badass. I'm an outdoor badass. Let's just get our badass
God,
deal
I
together."
don't
Grab
even-
some catfish by their giblets.
Say nothing more.
It was just like kismet. She asked me, I was like 100% I'm in. I went and I fell in love with it. So that was 6 years ago. So I've
6
been-
years ago.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I've been doing it.
So
Right there.
let's talk about the process a little
Girls
bit.
Gone Grappling.
Girls Gone. I have the DVD.
Yeah, you do.
I've
Look up
got it.
Allie from Alabama. See what she's got on.
I don't know if she's there. You can buy that DVD on Amazon right now for a
Allie?
low price of $9.79.
Is that
There you go.
volume 2?
That's volume 2. Yeah.
How many volumes
Is
are there?
bum fights on there anymore?
I don't know
Well,
how many
okay.
volumes are. Oh,
So let's talk about the process.
yes.
So are we just walking the river? You said we're on a boat. We're drinking. What are we looking
Can
for?
be, if you want. I was.
I'm definitely one.
What are we looking for on the boat? Like what are we looking for?
So if you're gonna do natural holes, so okay.
So I prefer
Well,
them.
let's start at the beginning. In order to noodle catfish, they have to be spawning. That's how you.
Because they're sitting on the beds, right?
So yes, they're going in there. So what happens is the male goes in first. He like weaves out a hole with
Yeah, that's right.
with his tail, like makes a big nest for the female. to
Chivalry's
come
not
in.
dead.
So she comes in, lays her eggs, leaves, and then he
Ah,
stays.
exactly. Went out
The
to get some
daddy-
milk.
The daddy stays, and he stays on that nest, and he'll fan the eggs. Because if he's not there fanning them, they'll grow algae. All the eggs die. So, water temperatures have to be a certain temp for these fish to start spawning. Blue cat spawn first in the cooler temps, and then next come in the flatheads. But so what happens is if you're doing natural holes, you'll go in and you'll take a cane pole basically, and you'll walk the like the riverbanks, and you'll just find a hole, root bed, something like that, and you'll stick the pole in, and typically the fish will bite your stick.
So that's how we know we're not getting a snapping turtle.
Well, so snappers,
okay.
snappers have to. Well, okay, so snappers have to have an air pocket. I just think it's funny because we do snapping turtle noodling here in Indiana.
Yeah.
Like, that's an Indiana thing,
that's right. Yep.
But it's actually illegal to noodle catfish in Indiana, so I can't even do it here. But
We need to talk to our local
I
representatives.
tried. I know we can noodle snapping turtles. We can't noodle.
We've got a
catfish.
pretty high-ranking local
There
representative.
you go. Go talk to him. But
Snapping turtles need a pocket of air. So
yeah, and snakes do too, and beavers and other.
Are you telling me there could be a snake in there?
If it's a natural hole, like if there's an air pocket, it's possible. But
I'm
otherwise,
out.
if there's not an air pocket, you don't have to worry about
Kiss
it. There's
my ass.
so how do we
gonna
know if
be a
there's an air pocket or not?
fish. You hope for the best. I don't.
Yeah. I'll drink the beer.
Stick your head in first, and
If
if you
it's-
can see,
If it's deep enough, it's gonna be. So a lot of times where we find some of these holes will be under like.
log jams.
yes,
Root
I was
wads.
gonna say boat ramps, like where you're back in the boat, under the concrete. They'll go in under there
Yep.
and make we've out some holes and stuff.
I've
So-
been 100% on this until I thought there might be a snake in it.
I am absolutely scared shitless of doing this.
I'm a
couldn't.
snake relocator in the state of Indiana.
I could not do it.
I will relocate a snake with a shotgun.
No,
I have,
Call me,
over the
call me.
I have personally.
Jenna was 8.5 months pregnant. She called me 7 times in a row, and I'm trying to be professional. I'm like, what the f***? What do you need?
That's what
There's a snake. It crawled up the chair beside the bed. What do I do? I said, burn the house down.
No, you call your new friend Allison and you say, "Hey, can you come get this snake?" For me?"
I was ready to
Come
burn
here.
the house down, and I
There you
didn't
go.
sleep for 3 weeks because every time I heard something, you can't even hear a snake, but I'd hear something in the other room, just like that. Snakes.
So we go deeper waters because we're not going to roll the dice on like a hole that's
All right.
like close.
Yes, so
So we're going deep water. So that's where we got to be able to. Can you wear like goggles to do this, or is that like frowned upon in the
Don't
noodling
help
committee?
The
you.
water's so dirty you can't see.
yeah, most of the time the water that you're finding these catfish in,
Drag
you're
it
not
on.
going to see it anyway. And honestly, you don't want to see it because you don't. If I were to see this fish
gonna
before
rip
it bites me, then you're gonna like. Then you're gonna.
Go.
We're noodling Labradors
buddy.
right now.
I didn't want him to rip it.
But let's say you got your hand in this hole and you can see the fish. Like as soon as that fish goes to bite you, you're gonna back out. You don't want to do that because you're never gonna catch the fish, right?
What kind of hand movements do you do? Do you just kind of do like a little, come here, baby?
You,
You know, something like that?
so
there?
really, you want to move like slow and just feel around for the fish. So that's what I'm doing. Like you'll go in, you'll find the hole, and your brain kind of like figures out
Put your freaking stub finger down.
where the hole is at.
This guy.
Poor Seth. He's like, I can never noodle.
I've only got 4 on one hand.
You don't have to have thumbs are important. You'd be fine.
So you come in and you feeling around, you're finding
Feeling
the
around.
fish.
Yeah, and typically the fish then it'll bite you because they're trying, especially if there's eggs. If there's
Oh
eggs
yeah,
in the
that's
hole,
their job.
they're gonna
Yeah.
bite right away. Typically,
Right.
It's gonna you put your hand in the hole and it's gonna.
Bam.
So what's that?
Get you.
So what's that reaction when that son of a bitch bites down? Like, is it just it?
It's
So
fast, so they bite real fast. Like a lot of people think they bite down and don't let go. It's like bam, bam.
they almost
bam.
attack it.
It's like a yeah,
And then
it's
that's where
like
you're trying to grab.
because they're trying to scare you.
You're
Yeah.
setting your arm.
Yes. So the catfish has a lip, like a handle. Its bottom lip's kind of like a handle,
Mhm.
and you push it to the bottom. Like you try. That's what you're trying to grab hold of. So a lot of times it bites you past your hand, or it does me. And so like they'll bite fast, but they'll back up, and that's when I can get a hold of that bottom lip and kind of push them to the bottom, and then go in with my other hand and grab and get a hold. So once I go through.
Grab a holt.
Grab a hold of them. Once I go through, like between, if it's a big enough catfish, I can get, there's like the gill plate and the gills. There's a gap there. I can go between that gap and then grab a hold of its lip too that way. And then he can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got him
Fall
locked
out.
in.
Yeah.
So when once you, is it a catch and release, or are we frying that up down there?
If it's small enough, we'll keep it. But typically it's all catch and release.
Yeah, the big ones
Because-
you don't want to eat anyway.
And
They've been
because
sucking on
they're
that river.
And honestly, the bigger ones have good genetics, so
Yep.
like we want them
Put
to
that
keep
back in there.
reproducing.
Yep.
Yes, and
There's
if,
the conservation element.
yeah, if you were to keep these fish, and let's say they're laying thousands of eggs, all those eggs die. So like because they're spawning and all of that, we just put them back.
So will they naturally find their hole back, or do you kind of,
yes,
here you go, pal?
so I will.
Sorry
say,
for wrecking your home.
I go with a guide in Illinois whenever I take my group of girls, like these 12 girls. I go with my buddies out on Wren Lake in Illinois, and we will keep the fish. We'll put them in a live well. We'll take them all over the lake, and they'll find that same fish in the same hole.
That's
Wow.
wild.
They'll go. Their radar's like go straight back to where they were.
So so we've talked about deer hunting, turkey, noodling, sickas. What is the elk? What's most exhilarating out of those?
Probably noodling. I love catfish noodling, but elk, turkey. I don't know. I love them all. Turkey's up there. Turkey, elk, catfish noodling, are all up there.
And hey, you want to know something else?
Neck and neck.
We're going to continue this conversation on Friday because Butcher and Barrel is going to send us on our way out.
Butcher and Barrel, the new kid on the block. The fine dining experience right in the heart of Huntingburg. The place for hearty portions and unique cocktails. What can we say? Butcher and Barrel is the fine dining establishment that is ready to celebrate life's big moments or just a date night with the person you love. Butcher and Barrel has a unique menu from classic steaks to unique creations. And let's not forget about their craft cocktails. We're fans of eating. Look at us. But trust in the fact that the people behind Butcher and Barrel care and strive for excellence in everything they do. Make a reservation soon and tell them the Dutchman sent you.
And Allison, you know how we end the show?
Dutchman out.